You're listening to the Midlife Edit. Think of this as your remix for midlife strength, mindset, and living unapologetically. I'm Jen, your host, and together we're making this chapter not just good, but a damn good chapter. This is the Midlife Edit. Do you remember Jem and the Holograms? If you are like me and you grew up in the 80s, you might remember the bright pink neon hair and the glitter and the wild outfits. But do you remember the real story? Jem wasn't just Jem. She was actually Jerrica Benton. And Jerrica Benton was this super responsible, buttoned up young woman who had to become that because her father passed away and left her this record company. And I think it was like a foster home or something. So by day, she was holding everything together, doing what was expected of her by everybody. She was, being everything for everyone. But by night, thanks to this awesome magical computer thing called Synergy, she transformed into Jem. And Jem was this bold, unapologetic rock star who was just living out her true self. And here's the thing, hardly anyone knew that they were the same person because Jerrica spent so much of her life hiding Jem. She was hiding who she truly was. And for those of you out there who are a little bit younger, it's like Hannah Montana. Same kind of story. Jem was a cartoon and Hannah Montana was Hannah Montana, but same thing. Like she just transformed into this awesome musical badass and nobody knew who the real her was because she hid it. It's kind of like midlife, right? So many of us are living as Jerrica. We're responsible, dependable, we show up for everyone else. But deep down, Jem's still in there. That bold, unapologetic version of us who just really wants to show up and take the stage and say, hey, look at me. So today, I want to talk about how we let Jem out and what a comeback tour really looks like and how to start actually living it. In my last episode, I talked about burnout. And burnout, it decided to prove a point. I recorded the show and I uploaded it. And, if you know anything about podcasting, you can pre-record it like the day before and then set it up, schedule it to go out. So I did that. And I woke up Tuesday morning and I hit play because I like to make sure it's there. Usually I do it the day before, but like I said, I was freaking burnt out and I was just tired and done with it. And my intro music was there, great, and then nothing. 30 minutes of silence. Not sure what the hell happened, but 30 minutes. And honestly, it was such a metaphor for burnout itself because that's what burnout does. It silences us. It makes you feel like you're going through the motions, but your real voice isn't even there. And I could have easily just scrapped it, right? I could have said, I'll just delete it and maybe nobody will notice that I didn't record this week, or maybe I'll just leave it there and nobody will notice that it's 30 minutes of silence. Okay, Jen. Or podcasting, whatever, it was a good run. But I didn't. I pivoted. I re-recorded. I edited it. I edited. And I fixed it, right? And that in itself is part of the comeback. Not giving up when things go sideways, but adjusting and moving forward anyway. Because it sucked. And I wasn't, it was Tuesday morning and I had to get ready for work. I had all this stuff to do, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to pivot. I'm going to edit and I'm going to re-record. And I'm so freaking happy I did. Because there were a lot of you that reached out and said, hey, you're not the only one going through all of this. I'm burnt out too. That's why I started this podcast and I built this platform because I want to be able to relate to everybody else. And then to be really honest, I'm walking through burnout in another area of my life too. I've been dealing with these stupid freaking stomach issues for a while now. And I think I said it on my podcast, but I had some testing done and I have to wait for results. And that sucks, right? And sometimes that victim mentality, it comes creeping up real hard. Like, oh, I'm taking care of myself and I'm doing all the right things. Why me? Why now? But I'm going to try to learn to roll with the punches. And I'm going to keep showing up and I'm going to try to find joy even when things feel uncertain. Because Burnout may have been my messy opening act, but the headliner, that's my comeback. When I was little, I really wanted to be Jem when I grew up. And I'm not kidding. Ask my mom. I had all the dolls. I would dance around the living room with a hairbrush or whatever as a microphone. I would sing at the top of my lungs, Jem, Jem is excitement, ooh, Jem. Yeah, you can see why I didn't become Jem because I can't sing to save my life, but I would do it. And I would imagine I was headlining my own concert and the camcorder would come out and I'm pretty sure my mom probably still has a video of me doing it somewhere. Super embarrassing, but I was living my true Jem life. But again, Jem wasn't just Jem. She was Jerica, the serious, responsible one who held everything together. And Synergy, that magical computer, would transform her into Jem, with the glitter and the big hair and that stage presence that I wanted to be so badly. But if you think about it, Synergy is kind of like today's filters. You hit a button and suddenly you look different, or you've seen all the filters where maybe it's just a little bit of filter to make your skin clear, but then there's full face makeup filters and there are filters it's just amazing, right? You put on a mask, a layer, a projection of what you think the world wants to see. And that's what so many of us do in midlife. We hide behind filters and roles and expectations. But just like Jem, your true self, she's inside. She doesn't need a filter. I know. Look, I use filters. I'm not going to lie to you. Not all the time, but, when I have the midlife rosacea or whatever's going on my face, sometimes putting on a clear skin filter, I feel great about myself. But why? Why am I hiding? Because that's what society expects me to do. Look, we don't need a filter. We don't need permission. We just need the chance to step out from behind that disguise, right? And for us in midlife, that means dropping the mask. No more pretending to be okay when you're not. No more doing the things you secretly can't fucking stand just because somebody said you should. You should sign up for this. You should do that because you're scrolling at night on social media and this is the next best thing. And you know exactly what I mean. I know that you do because you probably signed up for something today just because you feel like you should have. Pretending to love kale salads when you just want that meal that fuels your body and fills you up. Or pretending that every PTO meeting or book club fills you with joy when really all you want to do is stay home in sweats and listen to music in peace. Or how about the pretending that the constant busyness is fine because it's just what moms do, or a boss babe mentality and this is how I get there. Listen, a comeback is when we stop performing that version of yourself that the world expects, that social media tells us that we should be. Or not even social media, society in general. Society in general says that midlife women should, be the ones who are in the mom jeans behind the scenes doing everything for everybody else. And we're not Jem. We're not that rock star. We're Jerica, right? But listen, you need to stop hiding that version. You need to stop hiding Jem. You need to start living like the one who actually laughs and creates and rests and dreams. When's the last time you thought about your own dreams? Sure, my dream was to be Jem. And obviously, I still think about it. I'm doing a whole podcast episode on it. And she was a cartoon, and sure, that won't ever happen. But what about your dreams? Have you thought about them lately? Or is it just about what your boss wants, or your partner wants, or your kids' dreams? Sure, it's okay. I'm not saying it's not okay to care about other people. But what about your dreams? When's the last time somebody asked you about your dreams? And sure, dreams change, right? Maybe you wanted to be a teacher when you were little and now you want to be a badass CEO. Or maybe when you were younger, all you wanted to do was be an astronaut and now you are a mom who has everything she's ever wanted. But what's more? What's next? What are your dreams? And how do we actually get there? Okay, it's another list, but listen, if you're anything like me, you need some kind of framework, right? Because if not, all these things start going through your mind. And then for me, when I get overwhelmed and there's too much going on, I just stop doing it at all. So here's a 4-step framework that I'm going to start leaning in on. Write it down. Step 1, name it. Get honest about the things that you're doing because you feel obligated to do them. So maybe it's that committee that drains you, or that trendy workout thing that you're dreading, like spin cycle or bar class or whatever the trendy workout is. Or what about the constant yeses when your heart and your head are screaming, no, I don't want to do them. Name it. Write it down. Write down what you're doing because you feel obligated to do it, not because you want to do it. Step 2, decide if it belongs. Ask yourself, does this still serve me? Does this align with who I am now? Is this bringing out my inner gem? If it doesn't make the set list. Step 3, release the guilt. And this is where we get stuck, right? But saying no to what you don't want is really saying yes to the woman that you're becoming. Step 4, replace it with the truth. Swap out the things that you don't want to do or that don't light you up with the things that do. So maybe ditch that kale salad, but prep meals that are actually satisfying. Or maybe let go of that trendy workout class, like say no to spin cycle, but lean into kettlebells or strength training, or even just dancing in your kitchen. Maybe clear an evening from the obligations and give yourself some space for rest or reading or journaling or just sitting on your back porch with some good music and a cup of tea. This is how we're going to move from living as Jerica and stepping into Gem, one choice at a time. And it's okay if you don't get through all 4 steps every time. Maybe it's just step 1. Maybe you're just naming it, and then you can't get on to step 2. So then something else comes up, name it again. Eventually, you're going to get to step 4. I know that you are. You want to know why? Because you listen to this podcast. And we are in that part of our lives where we're just going to power through and we're going to get to step 4. So, how do we step into Gem? And why am I talking about Gem? And why am I talking about the Midlife Comeback Tour? Well, because it's music. And here's what I love about music. It shows us exactly what reinvention looks like. Look at Madonna. Madonna has been the queen of reinvention, right? Every album and every tour, she changed. She had a new sound, a new look, new era. She didn't cling to who she was, but she embraced who she was becoming. What about Pink? I love Pink. But she started in R&B and then she completely shifted to pop rock. And people didn't know what to make of it at the time, but she owned it and it became her signature. And even though she leaned into pop, she has said multiple times, and even in her lyrics, that she wasn't going to conform to what pop music wanted her to be. There's a lyric, LA told me, you'll be a pop star, all you have to do is change everything that you are. And she didn't do that. You know, she wrote a song called Stupid Girls, how she didn't want to be a pop princess, but she wanted to sing, and she's freaking damn good at it, isn't she? What about Lady Gaga? Oh my God, I saw her in concert once and it was amazing. I love Lady Gaga. But she went from shock factor pop to jazz with Tony Bennett to raw, stripped down country vibes in Joanne. And every time she shifted, she healed a new part of herself and she brought her fans with her. They went along for the ride. And listen, you're listening to me, so I know, and hopefully you can like who you like, whatever. But I know a lot of you are Swifties. So let's talk about Mother, Taylor Swift. She literally re-recorded her own albums to take back ownership. She said, this is my work, my voice, my story, my lyrics. Nobody else gets them. They're mine. And that is the most badass midlife move I can think of. Deciding that your story belongs to you now. I know she's younger. She may not be, well, she's 35. She's getting there, right? I think she's 35. But she may not be the picture of midlife. But freaking A, that was a badass midlife move. She was deciding that her story belongs to her. And then if we zoom out, music doesn't just tell those stories, it shapes ours. Rock makes me feel freaking unstoppable. You put on a good rock playlist while I'm lifting weights, and I just feel like, oh, I could do anything. But then acoustic, it grounds me when I'm overwhelmed. It makes me feel at peace. It just, that's how I feel when I'm listening to acoustic music. Like, I'm just at ease. And then R&B, it gets me back in my body when I've been living in my head. I move. I like to dance, and especially like 90s hip hop and R&B. Oh, that brings me back to middle school and high school dances and all the good times I used to have. And I'm not a big fan of newer country, but some older country, it reminds me to slow down and pay attention to the small things. And pop music, listen, it hooks me, right? Even the pop now. I love pop music because it's happy and it's fun. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's rage. Sometimes it's, fuck you. I hate what you did to me. But other times it's, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Who runs the world? Girls, right? It brings me into that joy when I forget how to have fun. When you see somebody listening to pop music, they usually have a smile on their face and they're singing along. I love it. But listen, I can't talk about music without talking about the best band in the land, my favorite, the Dave Matthews Band. The sounds, the albums, the community, the shows, the concerts, DMB has been the soundtrack to my life. Literally every part of my life, I've leaned on the music of the Dave Matthews Band. And it's changed and evolved over time too. And I'll never forget my first concert, July 3rd of 2000 at Three Rivers Stadium. That feeling that I got when I was there, I swear to you, still the same feeling I get every show I attend. And I've attended a lot. But listen, the lyrics have always spoken to that tension between emptiness and transformation for me. And most of you have heard of the Dave Matthews Band, or at least I hope you have. But if you've ever heard the song Gray Street, there's a part that says, she feels like kicking out all the windows and setting fire to this life. She could change everything about her using colors bold and bright, but all the colors mixed together to gray, and it breaks her heart. Catch me at a Dave concert and I'm screaming that part of the song, and it's not just me, it's all these people around me, and it's just this sense of togetherness. But when you're screaming that song, no matter what you're feeling there, you're kind of letting it go, right? And that lyric is midlife burnout, that ache of emptiness of knowing something has to change. But for me, it's also the spark, that desire to kick out the windows, to use those big, bold, bright colors, to finally live fully again. And that is what this comeback tour is all about. Music is medicine. And live music, it's fucking healing, man. I've stood in stadiums, at outdoor shows, in arenas, and I've felt thousands of voices sing the same words I was singing. And in that moment, you remember you're not alone. You remember that you're part of something so much bigger. Music brings us together. And so that's why I called this a Midlife Comeback Tour. Because midlife doesn't have to be a crisis. It can be a tour. It can be your reinvention, your encore, your big, messy, bold return to yourself, your comeback tour. And I don't want this to be just about me. I want you to create your own comeback tour. I want you to ask, what's on my set list? What am I letting go of? What's the encore I want to be remembered for? This is a movement. Guys, this is so much bigger than a podcast episode. This is your invitation to stop living in the shadows and step into your own spotlight. So yeah, this is the Midlife Comeback Tour, and you're on it with me. Let's make this as big as any sold-out stadium show. This is our Eras Tour, right? Let's make it as big as the We Do Not Care Club, because I care about this. and I care about you finding your comeback. So what does my comeback look like right now? For me, it's about finding my spark again. And music has been such a huge part of that. Huge. Which is why I created the Midlife Comeback Tour playlist. Doesn't matter what you listen to, rock, pop, R&B, country, acoustic. Each one is like a chapter of this journey. When I need energy, I blast rock. When I need calm, I turn to acoustic. These playlists have helped me reconnect with the parts of me that I thought I'd lost. And it's also about my health, right? Showing up at the gym. But I'm not doing it to punish myself. I'm not doing it because I had a piece of cake last night. I'm doing it because I want to remind myself of my strength and that comeback that I had and taking back my health. And it's about creativity. It's about this podcast. It's about writing. It's about building the Midlife Edit. It's about finally taking up space again. And yeah, it's about fun. Every great tour has merch, right? You can find the Midlife Edit merch right now at the midlifeeditco.com. But it's not just about a shirt or a mug. For me, the merch is a symbol. It's a way to say, I was here, I claimed the season, and I am headlining my own fucking tour. And right now, that's just the beginning. It's just a small collection to kick things off. But it's the start of something bigger. So if you grab something from the store, know it's not just merch. It's your reminder and your proof that you're on your own comeback tour too. Listen, Burnout may have been my opening act, but it doesn't get to headline the story. Your midlife comeback tour is waiting, and it doesn't have to look like everybody else's. It doesn't have to look like mine or Taylor Swift's. It just has to feel like you. So audit your set list. Let go of what doesn't belong. Find your encore moments. Those moments where they used to put up lighters, but now it's cell phones putting up the lights because they want to see you again. They want to see the real you. Get out there, say those few words, sing that song at the top of your lungs, and step back into your own spotlight, unapologetically, fully, and on your own fucking terms. Listen, we're going to do this together. This is a fucking movement now, you guys. And I'm sorry for the passion and all of the swear words, but I'm serious. This is our midlife comeback tour. Let's freaking do it together. Grab your merch. Let's show it off. Hashtag midlife comeback tour. Show me your playlists. I made all those playlists. I also made a perimenopause playlist, which is kind of like a female rage playlist. So you can find the Midlife Edit Co. website and the Spotify channel with all the playlists in the show notes. So check those out. Share them. The playlists are free, guys. I'm not freaking charging you for a playlist. Listen to it. See if it resonates with you. And if there's a song that you think that I should add to something, tag me. Tag me in your whatever you're listening to right now, because I like to find new music too. And I also love to learn how music speaks to other people. And if this episode resonated with you, do your thing. Hit follow. Share it with your midlife bestie. Check out the playlist and visit the midlifeeditco.com to check out the merch. Because the right song, the right reminder, and the right symbol can change the way you see yourself. Find your inner gem. Maybe that should be my Halloween costume this year. What do you think? Oh, maybe I can make a merch tie-in with Gem. That'd be cool too. Anyway, listen. Tell me about your comeback tour. Tell me about who you want it to look like. Is it your inner Gem? Is it your inner, I don't know, Hannah Montana? Is it your inner you? Because I want to see her. I want to meet her. And everybody else does too. So until next week, work on that set list. Show me your midlife comeback tour merch and show me your playlist. I want to see them all. This is your chapter. Let's make it a damn good one. You've been listening to the Midlife Edit, your remix for midlife. Remember, we're making this chapter not just good, but a damn good chapter. Want more? Join the Midlife Edit Insiders group on Facebook for deeper conversations, grab the curated playlists to fuel your comeback tour, and check out the merch that lets you wear your midlife with pride. Everything's linked for you in the show notes. And until next time, keep living bold, strong, and unapologetic. This is the Midlife Edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter.